I'll do one or two things that I was poking at. Let's see. Okay. So first one is, so I'm logged into partners here, went to our analytics dashboard that we show for folks. Now that we've got the full app mode embed, customers can go build their own content. What used to happen is if they tried to do a new analysis or duplicate this dashboard, we actually had different topics backing this standard dashboard than the ones we exposed to users, so they couldn't actually jump off from here. But now they are mostly the same. So now users can start from our standard dashboard, and I've migrated everything over to topics that they can actually play with. So folks can go build their own stuff. I also exposed a couple other topics in here to the analytics section. So now like the AI ones are in here as well. Oops, let's start a new tab. So now customers can go and build their own stuff. So that's demo one. The other demo is that I've been playing around with the model database that we moved over into Snowflake. And what I want to ultimately do is be able to provide some reports to folks of like what content or what workbooks do they have that have workbook level changes that are not in the shared model. So just starting to poke at that. This is on our. I'll start with our org so we can post this one, Colin, if we want to. But a couple of things that I found kind of interesting. Of all of the dashboard views that our organization uses, only 10% of them are like matching the shared model completely. So like 90% of our stuff has workbook model changes, which is not too surprising. And then we can come down here and actually see what those pieces of content are. So like BDR dash, if we jump over to that one, one of the most used pieces of content, if we go to like workbook, we can actually see that this does in fact have a bunch of changes in it. And the next step for me is to actually be able to expose what those changes are, or how many changes exist. So just to start, some reporting on that. And let's see, this one.
And all that's gonna make its way into the analytics instance.
It can. It's already there. Yeah, I haven't moved the model, but we'll be able to once I start poking at it. We can get to a little bit. I was starting to like, there's some data stuff I need to do to get this right, but we can start to extract, where is it? Like the actual dimensions and measures, and so like pulling out the actual diffs here. So let's see, like if I pull out, oops, won't bore us for too long. Again, there's a couple of things that are not quite right with this data set, but yeah, if we come over here, like you can see the measure and this was like a new one that exists only in the workbook, and like these are the three dimensions that were added to this workbook that don't live in shared. So
it's going to be insanely powerful if we can make sure that customers can consume this in a way that they understand it. Like I just think that we can be best in class at this stuff.
Yeah, no, one of the things that's come up with like bigger clients specifically is if everyone is modifying the same metric, how do I figure out that that's the metric that's always being modified and like come up with a new definition instead of having like the same thing floating around all over the place. So that's awesome.
Incident asked for that exact thing. Like pretty much the like step 2 of what you're building around. The same with Synthesia, because they're planning on doubling their headcount this year, but everyone is in the workbook, so they just don't want clutter. So this looks awesome.
Yeah, there's definitely first step of just like showing people what's what and what's where. And then if we can get fancy and show them where there's overlap and things like that, like, is there the same field being used across multiple workbooks that don't live in shared or whatever?
Yeah. We really need to figure out workbook models that are okay and what our point of view is there, because right now it's really hard to express that. And we don't want everyone just promoting everything down. So we're going to have to figure out what governed workbook model looks like, and that probably also needs to get absorbed by the permission system so that like restricted viewers can actually consume that stuff. Yeah, it's cool that we have the layers to do it.
Ariel, can we talk about the your first part of the demo again, the app mode embed? Can you run through what happens if we actually try and duplicate a dashboard from like the shared folder? Do they have the ability to then like save a copy of that into their entity folder?
Yep. So, okay, so back on the standard dashboard. Now, if I duplicate this, copy, put it in my personal folder. It is mostly going to load because the topics now work. Does it work completely? There, yeah, okay. So there's a couple that I haven't ported over because I need to go do some modeling. So there's like 1, 2, 3. I think there's 4 tiles that won't copy over correctly, Justin, but everything else will. So they can go and like edit this and go to all these tabs and change them and stuff.
So what is there something specific about those 4 that make it not load when you copy it into your own folder or into like your shared entity folder?
Yep. They are, ignore this. They are built on topics that we didn't expose. Like, so just to show you some of the guts here. Let's go back to the workbook. The way that our analytics instance is set up right now, sorry, the video thing keeps getting in my way, is that we have a lot more topics. So in our topic list on analytics, you'll notice there's a bunch of topics here. And then there's this production topics. The production topics are the only ones we actually expose to our users to touch and build new content off of. But this dashboard was previously built on topics that were not in this list. And so that's what those 4 tiles, they're still on topics that aren't exposable, which means that if a user tries to go directly to the workbook, we block it. We give them like a you don't have access to this error.
Got it. Okay, but for customers that deploy not using like the analytics use case at all, but like for their own use cases, could they like create a duplicated dashboard off just their own shared?
Oh, you're not talking about analytics like just in general for our workflow for embed?
Right.
Oh, yeah, they can duplicate if they have the permissions to do that, they can duplicate to their own personal fold and build off of it.
Cool. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Sorry, I didn't know that's what you're asking. Yeah, if you go to if you can try that out on Gleam, like on the Gleam Plus, it should work fine.
Yeah, I don't know if I might have just been missing something before, but I thought that was what the first part of your demo was about, and I thought that was a limitation we had before.
No. Sorry, I was just demoing analytics specifically. We had like a weird restriction set up before.